¿Qué tal amigos? Bienvenidos a un nuevo video en el canal. Estoy muy contento de estar nuevamente con todos ustedes. Y bueno, pues Kristi Noem volvió a la carga con toda su polémica, con todas sus malas acciones. Y sí, porque hace pues unos días Kristi Noem corrió al representante Alex Padilla de una manera sumamente, con una bajeza total, de una manera muy grosera. Y es un fiel reflejo, como hemos estado mencionando en este canal, que Kristi Noem es el fiel reflejo de esto, que no hay libertad de expresión, que solamente existe su forma de pensar y creo que eso no tiene nada de libertad. Pero bueno, quien explotó en contra de Kristi Noem pues fue el senador Cory Booker. Si ustedes no lo conocen, pues el senador Cory Booker en los Estados Unidos pues es muy conocido. Hace unos meses había dado un discurso de muchísimas horas, yo creo que eran como 13 o 17, pero bueno, vamos a ver cómo Cory Booker explota en contra de Kristi Noem y bueno, quédense cómodos y adelante con las imágenes.
President. Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from New Jersey.
I want to thank the chair. Clearly, the voices of my colleagues and I are calling this what it is, which is a crossroads for this body. One of our members, it matters not what their party, who was in their state, was forcibly removed when he was asking for accountability from the executive branch. He was taken out of that room forcibly by multiple men who then, even when he identified himself, even when he was pulled out of that room, he was then forced to the ground, pushed upon his face, his hands wrenched behind his back, and he was put in restraints. This is a crossroads for this body. This is not a partisan issue. It is one about who we are as a body. Will we let the abuses of the executive branch physically take a member of this body and drive them to the ground and put them in restraints? And why? Why? Well, we are starting to get answers already. Here is Tricia McLaughlin, who is the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. This is her statement. Senator Padilla chose disrespectful political theater and interrupted a live press conference without identifying himself or having his Senate security pin on as he, quote, lunged towards Secretary Noem. Mr. Padilla was told repeatedly to back away and did not comply with officers' repeated commands. Secret Service thought he was an attacker, and officers acted appropriately. The statement concludes that Secretary Noem met with Senator Padilla after and held a 15-minute meeting. We know this is not true because we hear with our own ears on the tape Senator Padilla identifying himself. Further, disrespectful political theater is not a justification to remove a United States senator in their own state at a public press conference and violently push them out of the room, drive them to the ground, put them on their stomach, and handcuff them. Disrespectful behavior, this is our democracy. You have a right to speak up. You have a right to free speech. You have a right to stand and do the job that you swore an oath in this chamber to do, to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And one of your jobs is to provide a check and a balance to the administration. One of your jobs is to give accountability to the administration. Now, I know the 100 members, the other 99 members of this body. And if disrespectful behavior is a justification for violent reprisal from the administration, how many members of this body? How many of this members of this body would be subjected to that? This is a farce of a justification. And therefore, we are at a crossroads. Will my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, will my Republican colleagues justify the treatment of one of the members of this body, justify the violence against one of the members of this body, justify a member of this body being thrown upon the ground and putting handcuffs for what? For disrespectful behavior. If you think it stops with one, you are inviting it for the all, because it does not. You are inviting it for every member of this body. If the Obama administration or the Biden administration said that a senator on the other side of the aisle was being disrespectful and threw that senator violently onto the ground and put him into handcuffs, this body would be full of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle condemning what the Biden Justice Department did or the Obama Justice Department. This should not be about partisanship. This should be about patriotism. This should not be about tribalism. It should be standing up and being a leader in this moment. This is wrong. This violence is wrong. But let me be more personal. I tried to understand why this particularly upset me. And I think my colleague from Delaware spoke to that because of Alex Padilla's reputation in this body, of being a kind and gentle person. We all know him, the goodness and the decency that he has. He is not one of the louder senators. He is not one of the performative senators. He has a reputation, as my colleague from Delaware said, on both sides of the aisle for being a gentle man. But I think what was really hard for me to see was that a member of this body was driven to his knees and made to kneel before authorities. That's what got me. I think when I saw him driven to his knees, forcibly, something there got me. You see, we know Alex Padilla's story. It is an unusual story for this body. His family came here as Mexican immigrants. His father was a short order cook. His mother cleaned homes. They did those jobs that don't always come with esteem or respect. They did those jobs in which when people see them, they sometimes look down on them. They did those jobs that are often marginalized despite their dignity. They raised their son to serve. He went to MIT. They raised their son to work hard, to show grit, to rise. And they got to watch their son become a city council person in LA. They got to watch their son ascend to be the Secretary of State for California. They got to watch their son come to this body. And this son of Mexican immigrants who cleaned homes and served food, this man with equal dignity in this body, today was driven violently to his knees, as if made to kneel before the authority of the executive, because he was so-called disrespectful. That should offend the consciousness, not just of the other 99 members of this body, it should offend the conscience of this country. Because if you can make Alex Padilla forcibly kneel before this executive, when does it stop? He's a United States senator. And if you could force him to kneel to his knees violently, when does it stop? What does it say to other Americans who want to speak up? What does it say to other Americans that want to exercise their constitutional duty? What does it say to other Americans this weekend when they want to peacefully protest? What does it say to other Americans from humble backgrounds who know poverty? That if a United States senator who stands up to do its job can be made to driven to his knees, violently handcuffed. What does it say? What message does it send? Everybody in this body should see that this is a crossroads. They treated a member of the United States Senate violently after he identified himself, dragged him out of a room, threw him upon the ground, and put him in handcuffs. Every member of this body should object to that. Why? Because the statement was that he was disrespectful. That is unacceptable. That is offensive. That is un-American. And so why is there silence right now? Why aren't my colleagues saying, I don't care if it's a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent? When you drive a man to his knees in the United States of America, that is wrong, that is wrong, that is wrong. This is a test. This is a crossroads. This is a day in which the character of this body will be defined. Alex Padilla, a man of infinite decency, generosity of spirit, who, whether you disagree with him or not, is so well liked in this body, who today, in a time of understandable outrage in Los Angeles, went to be with his constituents to get answers. And when he walked into a room and saw a cabinet secretary and raised his voice to ask questions, he was met with violence. They heaped upon him indignities. They drove him to his knees and then to his face, and they put him in cuffs. Well, they didn't just assault the physicality of Alex Padilla. They did not succeed in assaulting his dignity. I know he rose off that ground with the same dignity he had before they threw him upon it. What they assaulted today is the dignity of this body. What is in question now is the truth of who we are and what we stand for. This is an abuse of power. This is a violent act unjustifiably taken on a member of this body. The question is, who will we be as a Senate? The question is, how will we respond? Will we defend this institution, or will we yield to the tactics of authoritarian, violent leaders? I see my colleague here from Maryland. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Tremendo discurso del senador Cory Booker, que sin duda, perdonen, que sin duda me encantó esta intervención. Bueno, estamos aquí repitiendo el video. Me encantó esta intervención del senador Cory Booker, demócrata de New Jersey, porque realmente está diciendo la verdad. Él está diciendo la verdad con todas sus letras, lo está diciendo prácticamente en rojo, lo está poniendo en mayúsculas, lo tiene subrayado y está haciendo él un llamado a la libertad de expresión. No importa que tú seas republicano, no importa que tú seas demócrata, no importa que tú seas independiente, no importa que tú seas estadounidense nato, estadounidense anglosajón, estadounidense con raíces latinas, o en este caso como Alex Padilla, que tiene orígenes mexicanos. Me encantó, o sea, me encantó totalmente cómo Cory Booker les dice en su cara a todos sus colegas, porque también le está haciendo referencia de que cómo puede ser posible que todos ellos se encuentren en silencio y que hagan oídos sordos y volteen la cara a todos estos temas que son sumamente graves, como ya lo hemos estado platicando con cuando fue el trato que le dieron a Brego García cuando lo deportaron por error y después se dieron cuenta de que Kristi Noem estaba fabricando casos falsos para deportar a la gente. O sea, todo este tipo de cosas atenta contra todas las libertades humanas, contra los derechos humanos, y me cuesta mucho trabajo cómo es posible todo este tipo de cosas que estén sucediendo en los Estados Unidos, pero bueno, realmente no quería agregar mucho. Esto me encantó por parte del senador Cory Booker. Me encantaría saber su opinión sobre este pequeño discurso del senador Cory Booker. Comento de nuevo, el demócrata proveniente de New Jersey, de Nueva Jersey. Y bueno, ¿qué opinan ustedes, señores? La verdad me encantó este discurso por parte del senador Cory Booker. Pero bueno, señores, hasta aquí el video. Me encantó estar con todos ustedes. Mañana esperen videos picantes. Así que, bueno, les mando un abrazo y nos vemos a la siguiente. Bye bye.